on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products stocked and ready when you need them. Better workdays happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Listen each weekday morning at 9 o'clock for the Roundtable here on News Radio WGNS. Interesting hosts and guests with the news, views, and people that are shaping Rutherford County. He's local. Certified financial planner Jason Qualls. Financial Coaching Radio. Weekdays at 4 on News Radio WGNS. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable. My name's Andy Herzer, founder and president of First Shot Foundation. Monte Hale, we're reversing roles. He's my longtime radio sidekick. He agreed to come in. It's our favorite time of the year, Monte. I think it's the two greatest days in sports coming up for both the men's and women.
Thursday and Friday, the NCAA tournament. Can't beat it. Like you said, some people extend their dreams. Other dreams are trashed. It doesn't matter who you are. Even a number one seed has finally got beat in an NCAA tournament. So no one's immune from the great upset, and that's what kind of makes it cool. Just to not have a dog in the hunt, just sit back and watch hoops.
So, Monte, we're going to talk first the women's bracket, and especially let's get into talking about what a special season Coach Insel and the Lady Raiders have had. I don't remember a last time a school at middle has ran both the regular season undefeated and swept right through the conference tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about that, regardless of what level. To go undefeated, and you're playing these teams twice, so the book's out on you, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, and to go undefeated with the bullseye all on you is amazing, because you just have games sometimes, you know? It just doesn't work for you. And they didn't have games. You know, their first conference game was Louisiana Tech on the road, and it went overtime. And then after that, you know, they're beating people by average over 20, 23 points a game. And then you get in the tournament. Tough one. Louisiana Tech again, you know. A team that was a big enigma this year. But it was a matchup deal where that was going to be a tough game for the ladies to win. But it's amazing, though, just because you get on the road, you can't shoot. You just got to hope your talent, when you don't have it, you hope your talent is superior to theirs, that it just takes over.
What I like about this team, the 5 starters, on any given night can get 30. Not 20, Monty, 30. And it's an amazing group of how, to me, they have such great chemistry together. And they don't care as long as middle gets it done. They don't care who scores.
No.
It's a really unselfish group of ladies that are very talented. And that's just fun for an old coach to see how he's done it. So if you take this team, and they had the same way that the men's went at it, I could pick them taking a long run but playing on home courts, I just think it's unfair, Monty. What's your thoughts on home court?
Well, that's the way it is. They open up with Louisville, and then, if they were to get by them, they'd have to play more than likely LSU. They play Rice. They would have more than likely have to play LSU the defending champions on their home court, and that's where you run into tough things. But even in the men's, I mean, it seems like every year Duke or Carolina was in Charlotte or Greensboro. I mean, you're just right down the road.
Well, I mean, Purdue's in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean they got a good draw for that, and UConn's what in Brooklyn. So I mean they're somewhat close, and you're going to get the regional biased deals going on there, but it's the women's game has really evolved tremendously, and I think it like the men is going to be a really good tournament this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, South Carolina's the odds-on favorite. Then you got Iowa with Caitlin Clark. You got LSU with Reese, but then you got UCLA, Stanford, both really, really good teams.
And nobody talks about UConn. They went undefeated in their league.
Yeah.
They're almost like yesterday's news.
It's crazy how, again, there's so many more quality teams, so that when it gets to that Sweet 16, anything's, I think, is going to be possible in the girls.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. You look at their matchups in every conference across the country all year. A lot of teams split with one another in their respective leagues. The team you think is going to win one night doesn't. Kind of just a lot like the men,
You start looking at the top 2, 3, 4 seeds in the women, Monty. What jumps out at you?
Well, South Carolina, really well coached. That's evidenced by the fact they've got all new starters. Excuse me, from last year. It's a whole new team, and they haven't lost a game. Tells you how well they're coached. Iowa has got the player of the year.
Funny. The Pacers, whatever I think they're there. What's the team in Indianapolis, the WNBA?
Magic Mystique, or
yeah, something. Doubled their prices of tickets in anticipation of Caitlin Clark being on that team. Sold out in 24 hours. So the women's basketball game has got some people in it that now are drawing crowds, and big crowds, Monty. It's really changed. And let's go back to the Lady Raiders. They're in the top 10 in attendance since Coach Insel's been here. So they've done a great job of really marketing and branding themselves.
That's funny when I go back and look. When Coach was here, he came from Shelbyville, and it's no secret a lot of people didn't like Coach because he was beating the brakes off everybody here in Rutherford County. So he gets the job, and people are coming. I think initially they were like, I want to see if this guy can do it at this level now. Well, then they liked what they saw. They liked the product he brought to the court, and they became a fun team to watch from the get-go. And all of his teams have been fun to watch over the years.
Yeah, and there's not been any dips. If you really, the amazing thing is the longevity in which Coach Insel has been at the top.
Yeah.
And, he and his staff, I know they work extremely hard, but there's something about him. It's why he's in every Hall of Fame that's imaginable. And we're just that fortunate in our community to have a guy lead us for this long.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
With this,
this will be, I think, the 12th NCAA appearance since he's been here. He's had great players. He's had good players that became really good players. I mean, they grow. and they're a big part of the community. I mean, they have their own special following. Young girls love to go watch them play. They interact well with the crowds.
They make their fans become part of the family. It's so evident that after every, when they won the regular season, all the people that were on the floor, right? Then they do it again in the conference tournament. And it's a sea of blue in there, Monty. I mean, they painted Huntsville blue.
They did.
And it was really kind of cool.
Yeah, they were very well represented. And, kudos to Coach Mason, too. Loaded up, had any of the football players that want to go. They brought a nice little contingent of themselves on the championship day.
Well, again, I think it goes to show you that they've hired a quality guy in Coach Mason, that he understands the dynamics of what has to change to get the interest. He needs those fans that show up for Coach Insel and the Lady Raiders in the stands next fall. That is a great move on his part, and I think he's just that kind of guy, though. Too, he's not. He seems very authentic, Monty. And he again has a great resume to me as of what he's going to do, and again, we got to give him a chance, just like they gave Coach Insel a chance.
That's right.
So, Monty, let's switch gears. I want you to tell your 3 most favorite middle men's postseason. I don't care if it's NIT or NCAA. Let's because you have some really good ones that you have told. What's your top all-time favorite postseason?
I would say really without a doubt would be Middle's win over Kentucky in the 82. I lost my father that year, and he'd broadcast the games for a very long time, and you're playing the mighty blue of Kentucky, and me and some fraternity brothers, and we went up there and sat in the big sea of blue and caught a lot of grief. And you look up at halftime, it's 30-30, and Middle fell down 8-0 right off the bat, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're not even going to score. And really had a good bunch of guys, hard-nosed guys, no three-point line. They had a guy named Rick Campbell, averaged about 18 a game without the three. They had Buck Haley. They had Jerry Beck. You wouldn't know with Beck. You wouldn't know if the Middle was down 20 or up 20. He was so even keeled and so cool. He was just that cool customer. Had a little guard, Pancakes Perry. Had another little guard, Dan Mayfield. They just had a Lonnie Thompson. I mean, you had a good group of about 8 guys, and they were fearless. They went up there, and next thing you know, Middle's shooting freebies at the end, and it's over. And Kentucky fans are throwing their tickets away out onto the floor and into the stands and whatnot. And, there's been, just because it was the first one, it was Kentucky. And the big thing about it was Kentucky and Louisville didn't play back then. And, they were going to have to play because there was 48 teams, so Louisville got to bye, so the winner played Louisville, so it was going to be the dream matchup. Well, Middle yucked on all that. So that was probably my first one. My next one, I would say the run. I mean, I'll still always say I'd rather go to the NCAA tournament. But Middle had a run in the NIT one year that was really a lot of fun when they beat Georgia and Tennessee at home. And the Tennessee game, they had Darren Nix. I mean, they had a really good team that year, and Middle had Ty Bainham and all those guys, Chris Rainey, and they it was a great game. And it was funny though, there was a lot of orange. It was probably half and half, but a lot of that orange was cheering for blue by the time the game was over. So Middle wins that. Then they beat Georgia, who had Willie Anderson, who Ty Bainham said was the toughest guy he'd ever had to try to defend. And then they had Boston College. Chris Rainey's on one leg, filling it up. And this was to go to the Final Four. And they, people who follow NBA will recognize this guy, but they had a guy that did not miss, Dana Barros.
Might be one of the toughest guys to guard ever.
And one of the best shooters I've ever seen. That was that was a fun trip. And, obviously you'll throw the Michigan State game in there. Some consider it, some have called it the greatest upset because most people thought Michigan State should have been a 1 anyway. And I like the way Middle went about it because they didn't go bananas when they won. They acted like they were supposed to win, and Kermit was really confident in that group. He said, I think our big guys, our big fours, will cause him problems because they can bring them out and go past them, and that, and that was a perfect storm too. Everybody scored in double figures. Everybody had a good game, but I would also have to throw probably my third though would be when Middle beat Florida State. They were down by like 18, 19 in the first half, and they cut it to 51-44 at halftime. And then they went ahead, and they ended up winning, by 14 or something like that, But they went. It was, it went from like being down 18 to up 19. Yeah, that's how explosive that team was. And people have been around here. Remember a guy named Mike Buck? He'll actually be on my show. I'll use my time here to do a little shameless plug. He'll be on my show tomorrow at 5 o'clock. 35 years ago, and it was ironic. I had lunch with a friend of mine I think I've seen once in the last 25 years. We went to that game together, and we were right in the right on the floor, like second row at Vanderbilt. Great seats. And we were amongst Florida State fans. And, well, they were giving it to us, And then as it became apparent that Middle was going to win, my buddy kept going, crickets. And so really, you look to the great games were the ones at Vanderbilt. And the thing about the one in Nashville, I don't think Murfreesboro's finest or the campus finest, our local law enforcement, had any idea what was about to happen here. It was a zoo over there. When the team got back, there was probably 2,000 people out there, just raising cane, hanging in trees. It was
Monty, but that's what makes college. That college experience. What people, say you don't need sports. Well, sports, I'm gonna tell you, in college go hand in hand, and there's a lot of great times, a lot of great memories. Kermit and them had a good run in the NIT too.
Yeah.
Right. So
one in Knoxville. That. And we didn't mention the game against Minnesota the year after they beat
Michigan State.
They had. If you looked at Vegas, they had the seeding reversed. They had Middle a 12 seed, Minnesota a 5, and Middle was favored by 4.5, and won by what, 12?
Yes.
It was just a
Crazy.
solid.
But that was a really solid team.
Yeah.
Back to back. I think it might, and again, you can't compare errors, but again, it's figuring out how do you get those deeper runs, right? And there's some teams that you were going to talk about here that you like, and maybe the obscure conferences that you think can make a deep run in this, because I really do believe, Monty, I don't know what but parity on the men's side is really.
Oh, it's alive and well. There's no doubt about it. I mean, your teams you don't know about. I've seen most of these teams play. I'm kind of a junkie. A lot of people say I don't mess with basketball till football's over. Oh, I'm on basketball as soon as it starts. Because I like seeing teams that look like crap when I see them in early, and then see them in February and see how really a good of a team or great of a team they are. And I also are very, very interested in teams that I see early that I think, oh, man, they're world beaters, You take an Arizona, who's still a very good team. I mean, I saw them dismantle Wisconsin apart early in the year, and I said, well, they're the best team out there. Well, a couple of weeks later, they get beat by FAU on a neutral court. So, and then there's some teams, that look great, and then they get in their league play, and they just fall apart. So that's why I kind of like watching them throughout the year versus, just their conference play.
So we were talking off air. The conference that you thought kind of got the short end of the stick, Monty?
I would say the Big East. 3 teams. That's a tough league, man. You're leaving teams like Providence out, Seton Hall out, and no knock on the Mountain West. There's good teams in there. We'll be talking, you look at them, but 6 seemed a little high to me.
Well, it kind of the conference tournaments this year. Not a lot of number ones won, Monty. UConn, right? You start looking at it, UAB's in. They were like a 5 or 6 seed, right?
4.
So you're still looking at Auburn, 4 seed.
And played, what, a 10?
Yeah.
In Temple. Got on a good hot
10
run.
or 11, right?
Yeah.
And you can make those runs.
And I wonder how much the tournaments matter. I mean, you look what Iowa State did. They were a 2 going in. They were a 2. Auburn, what they did, they were a 4. I mean, they looked like they used all their energy in the last 2 games, and it didn't benefit them any. So, I mean, how much do those tournaments mean?
Well, this year I don't think any. And it's just, again, it's year to year, Well, it meant something to NC State.
Oh, man.
I mean, they played, probably the 5 games in 5 days. I mean, you're spent. Again, but they dismantled people. They just didn't win. Squeaked by all of them.
I love watching that Burns guy. Big boy.
Oh, yeah.
He's got skills now.
Yes.
He's got really good skills. He started at Tennessee. And he played a year at, I want to say, Wofford. And then ended up at NC State. Always got a big smile on his face. But, I mean, he gets down there. You can't
move him.
You can't move him. And he's got great skills, soft touch, great passer.
Yes. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of run, if they can make a run at all. But I guess other tournaments, I look across at it, the Pac-12, probably now the dismantled Pac-12. What teams are really good in it, Monty? What's left? You got,
Arizona, of course, Oregon
punched their ticket.
They took somebody's bid away by winning yesterday.
Yeah, they weren't in either. See, they played themselves in.
Washington State in for the first time in a while.
Yep. Had a great regular season.
7 seed, yeah. But, yeah, it's going to be break up the Pac-12 next year, the landscape of football and basketball is changing greatly.
I mean, so you've dismantled it. So now there's one less automatic bid, one more at-large bid. It'll be interesting, Monty, because the other teams are going to the Mountain West, right?
Yes. Oregon State.
Washington State. So they're making that league a little bit better, too.
Already, obviously, good with six
Six
teams
in it.
yeah.
So, you know, the landscape of college sports is going to change, I think, like dramatically over the next 5 to 10 years. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just, it changes every day in some regard, it seems like, from, conference realignment to portals to NIL to you name it. It's changing every day.
Tire World's annual at-cost tire sale is finally here. For 1 week only, all passenger and light truck tire brands will be sold at cost, plus an additional 20% off the installation. Want more? Okay. Get up to another $100 back by double dipping with manufacturer rebates. The sale is short, but the savings are huge. That's because Tire World doesn't put discount in its name, it puts the discount in your pocket.
At Tire World, we keep your family rolling.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Rayburn Insurance in Smyrna.
Come see me, Rick Hall, at Rayburn Insurance in downtown Smyrna today.
Online at rayburn.net.
Some people drive past Middle Point Landfill and see a mound of dirt covering yesterday's garbage, but we don't see that. At Middle Point, we see yesterday's trash as tomorrow's opportunity. We see an opportunity to convert naturally occurring gas into a low-carbon alternative to fossil fuel. We're Middle Point Landfill, and we see so much more than waste. Middle Point's vision doesn't end at the start of our driveway. We're Middle Point Landfill, and we truly see a brighter future for all of us in Rutherford County.
Where is the best barbecue in town? In 1920, East Main. The best barbecue for miles around is in 1920. East Main, you can buy it by the pound, sandwich, platter, or plate. No matter what you choose, it will taste great. You can come with a friend, by yourself, or with a date. Just Lick Pig Barbecue. Barbecue pork, beef, or chicken, Brunswick stew, great sides, lunch specials, down-home atmosphere, and they cater. Slick Pig Barbecue, it's the best.
Adam's Place has been a wonderful place. I'm Greg Shannon. Our grandkids live in Bradyville, so we wanted to get closer.
Greg, what do you like most about Adam's Place?
Well, the people are amazing, both the staff and, of course, the residents. Like everybody we've met so far, it's just unbelievably nice. Just trying to make us feel welcome, you know.
I'm Terry Deal. Call me about Adam's Place. Phone 615-904-9111. Memorial Boulevard, across from Walmart.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the law offices of John Day. I've lived and worked as a lawyer in Middle Tennessee for over 30 years, and to me, every single day has been an honor. That's why our firm is so involved with community programs like bicycle helmet giveaways and our Safe Ride Home program. At the law offices of John Day, we're not just looking to make donations. We want to make a difference in the community we hold so dear. And if you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. Let's patronize those local family businesses. That helps our economy. And on Saturday, MTSU is offering a tour for potential students. It begins at 9 o'clock Saturday morning at the Student Union Building. Prospective students and families are encouraged to be there. Again, that's 9 o'clock this Saturday morning at MTSU's Student Union Building. Also Saturday, the annual Easter egg hunt in Smyrna. It's at 1 o'clock Saturday at the Lee Victory Recreation Park. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood, so please give the gift of life. Right now, phone the Red Cross and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Their phone number, 800-RED-CROSS. And the Murfreesboro Red Cross is at 501 Memorial Boulevard. WGNS is happy to post your Good Neighbor events. Get them to us at least 2 weeks before they occur. For more Good Neighbor events, go to WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford weather.
Skies become mostly sunnier this afternoon with a high in the upper 40s. Winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 35.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE Sharing Change has now donated more than $11 million to local nonprofits assisting worthy causes in our community. MTE, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back in. Welcome back into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and president of First Shot Foundation. My good friend Monte Hale is joining me. We're talking college basketball, Monty. Again, looking over this, and we haven't really studied it either, you or I. We just got printed the brackets this morning, and I didn't listen to any of the pundits last night, Monty. I said I was going to come in here with my own thoughts. Looking at it, the 5, 12, 6, 11 lines, who do you like to upset the big boys?
Kind of like Grand Canyon. They're pretty slick.
So if anybody is a basketball junkie like Monty and I, Grand Canyon was in the Final Four of the NIT last year. That was played in Vegas with North Texas and UAB that were in our league. So it's a very good team, long and athletic too, Monty, and could cause some problems. I like that pick.
James Madison, Wisconsin, an interesting one at 12-5. You know, James Madison, they didn't lose a game in November or December. They lost 3 in January, and they didn't lose a game in February, and they haven't lost a game in March. So they've only got the 31, 32, and 3. They beat Michigan State.
Michigan.
Right off Michigan State.
Too. That's right. Michigan State.
Right off the bat.
At Michigan State.
So, I mean, that would be one worth watching. Oregon, South Carolina, 11-6. Oregon, they're kind of on the upswing.
How about, what do you like? Here's, to me, just a bad draw for South Carolina. Creighton.
Yeah, that's if they get past Oregon.
It's I mean, they didn't do, again, Monty, going back to the Big East, Creighton's a 3 seed. UConn's a 1 seed. Marquette's a 2 seed. They went 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of their league just got, to me, it's just, I can't fathom why they're not 5, 6 teams in here.
Yeah. Me either. I'll tell you another, and every now. Tennessee in the second round, if they win, could face Texas. You know, Rick Barnes coached at Texas all those years. Conspiracy theory. That's what.
So, Monty, here's was a stat that was said to me yesterday. No team that lost in the first round of their conference tournament has ever made it to a Final Four. So you got to look at Tennessee and Kentucky, and who was the 3 seed that got beat to Alabama. Are they going to make it? You start looking at that, and it's a little bit of a head scratcher, Monty, with these teams. Who can make a run? Who are some other teams? I think Auburn's a really tough out.
They're definitely trending up the way they're playing. You know, and Pearls, I mean, he's a mastermind. I mean, you look at his team. I mean, let's face it, the way they get after you, they foul about every play.
Kind of like you used to say when we came here, Monty. When you go up to Murray, they're going to foul you every play, but you're only going to get one out of every 4 calls.
Yeah. So, I mean, and, you know, if they are calling them, which they were some yesterday, it was what was getting the Auburn fans so irritated. Well, they've got 10 players. You know, they have a first squad, basically a second squad, and there's no drop down. So they just keep, okay, all right.
Well, I thought the second team played better yesterday than the first 5. And
you see that a lot.
And then they played the most in the second half of that game.
Yeah, I look, I see Morehead State's back in it, and I'm looking out there. And you just feel sorry for teams like that. Broome, that's where he started. He was a freshman of the year in the Ohio Valley Conference at Morehead. Well, Portal. You know, who are you going to keep?
Another one you said off air, Monty. Who's favored in the Clemson, New Mexico?
New Mexico is actually a slight favorite as an 11 seed versus the 6.
So
when you pick your bracket, sometimes it doesn't hurt just kind of, what are the spreads? You know, they're only favored by 3.5, or they're not even favored. There's a lot that goes into that. Vegas knows what they're doing.
Well, they have way more knowledge than me, Monty. So I always say, if you want to look at my bracket, do the opposite.
Yeah.
So, Monty, looking at now the number 1 seeds, most likely number 1 seed not to make it to you. It's got to be Purdue or Carolina.
Yeah.
Because you got to say Houston is a dog, man. They got beat bad. They're gonna come out with some vengeance, I believe.
Yeah, they make it difficult for you to score on them.
Yep.
You know, and so does a lot of people. You know, you talk about Houston's defense, and you should. They're the best. Well, Iowa State's second best. You know, they get after you.
I mean, arguably that was the best conference in the country.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. They didn't have any nights off, Monty. You can't name me a night off in that conference. So even K-State was good.
Yeah.
And could beat you.
But I would think Purdue would or Carolina. I mean, Carolina though. I mean, they've been playing so well. I just think March Madness. I think they just got into a team with NC State that was just not going to be denied.
So you look at an NC State, they weren't getting into it, period. Now you start looking at the teams that they did get in, all right? So you got Clemson, Virginia, Carolina, Duke, and NC State. So they were only going to get 4 teams in, Monty.
Yeah. You're talking about the ACC.
Yeah, 4 teams in. They have 5 now because of NC State. We would have been saying the same thing. Big East 3, ACC, and now you got Mountain West 6. But that same thing happened with the Mountain West. They had an upset, right? And a fired coach. It's crazy.
What about the guy in the West Coast Conference? What's his name, Monson?
Munson. He started. Feud was his assistant at Gonzaga. He goes and takes the Minnesota job. And again, some jobs aren't good to go to when you're out of your element of where you've recruited to. And that was a big jump because you have to have regional recruiting to get it done, right? And you start looking at it, you know, it's tough to move across country and really make it.
Well, yeah, it wasn't funny. The guy gets fired on money, but you can coach. We'll let you coach your kids in the tournament. They go win it. It's a 6 seed, I think. You know?
Yep. Again, Monty, they're playing for him. They obviously liked him as a man. The best 2 seed to you: Arizona, Iowa State, Marquette, or Tennessee?
Iowa State, by far. Yeah, you could make a strong case for him to be a 1, a really strong case. So.
Easiest path, or what you see as the weakest bracket: East, South, West, or Midwest?
I think if you're North Carolina or Arizona in the West, you're not shaking in your boots.
I'm gonna tell you, one of the best 7-10 games. When you said look at Arizona, I sit there and look at Dayton and Nevada. 2 great teams, Monty.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a bloodbath.
You're going to have that everywhere. I just think, I just look at UConn. I mean, like we said, you've got Auburn in there. You've got Iowa State in there. You've got Illinois in there.
I'm going to tell you, if Mississippi State gets by Michigan State, I think that's the matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State can guard Carolina guards.
Well, they're physical. They're physical guards. I just think and I think Houston's path, if Houston's right, then they're going to go right through. I mean, Kentucky's in there though, Marquette. See, Marquette's just I don't know. I don't know if they're overseeded or not. I'm not saying that, but I'm not enamored with them like I was last year. I think Kentucky's kind of a wild card in all this. Which version do you get of the Cats?
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break and be right back.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today.
We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp Data Bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies at the good old premises.
Premier 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
The Garden Patch Thrift Shop on Spring Street, across from the tall NHC building.
We've expanded our store. We've increased it about 600 square feet. We would just be very excited for everybody to come check us out.
Proceeds from sales benefit Greenhouse Ministries, a faith-based nonprofit serving the underserved here in Murfreesboro.
We were able to put merchandise into our store that we previously haven't had displayed: maternity clothes, scrubs, activewear, pajamas.
The Garden Patch Thrift Shop on Spring Street in downtown Murfreesboro.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, Executive Director of First Shot Foundation. Monty, you're studying over here. I think the toughest is the East. When you got UConn, the best team, arguably another Iowa State could arguably be a 1 seed. You got Auburn that's trending up. You got Illinois that's playing its best basketball right now too. So their top 4 seeds, I think, are pretty heavy weighted.
Yeah, all won their league tournament. So they're coming in on a run.
So you look at that, and then I'm with you. I think the West is probably the easiest, and then Monty, I think it's pretty even. I don't think Houston's got, there's some really good teams. You got Marquette, probably the weakest too, according to you and me. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, probably.
And then and they're playing. I still think Florida has a little juice left in them, even after the 7-footer went down. They got enough. Their young guys grew up a little bit on.
They got some good bigs.
Sundays. They're going to be great too by the end of the time they're done playing. Monty, Texas Tech, NC State. Thoughts? Do they keep it going, NC State?
No. Texas Tech, they were right there with Houston in the semifinals of that Big 12 tournament after falling behind 21-5. Because I've made the comment before that, man, it's just hard to score on Houston. It really is. They were down 21-5 and came back and got within 2 points. So, and I'm not discounting what NC State did. I think it's unbelievable to win 5 straight games and beat a red-hot Carolina team in the finals. But those teams know each other so well. I think they're going to be surprised at how good Texas Tech is.
But you shouldn't be. I mean Monty, it's just they had a war every night when you went and played.
I just think the casual onlooker, Texas Tech, well, no, you got to watch them. But it was fun watching NC State. I enjoyed it.
So Monty has every year one of the play-in games for the 11 wins. Which one do you most likely think? Boise State, Colorado, gonna have to face a Florida team.
Well, VCU came out of that and went to the Final Four one year.
I know.
USC, I think, went to the Sweet 16 1 year out of that play-in game. You asked me which team I think's got the best chance to do some damage.
Yes, in that playing game.
You know, you would think Virginia, but they struggled mightily. And I know they say they don't look what you do at the end of the year. That last 10 doesn't count anymore. That's garbage. It matters.
Well, you and I know momentum. You don't think teams want to have momentum? You're crazy.
I think a team that can cause people problems, Colorado.
Well coached.
Yep.
And
good guards. Got to have good guards, obviously, in this tournament. But yeah, I think Colorado could. Normally, if just looking down there, I would say Virginia. But they don't. I don't know. I do look at what they did down the stretch, and they really struggled.
I've only seen Colorado State play one time, Monty. Was not impressed the game that I saw them. So I'm not so sure that Virginia won't ride it a little bit and get by them. But again, when I start looking at this, nothing would surprise me.
No.
I mean, it really. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that the Big 12 gets 3 teams in the Final Four.
No,
that would not surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me to see, which I think was the next best league, the Southeastern Conference, that they could have a couple in it. It's just they're that good and well coached. And again, it'll be interesting to see the Mountain West how they fare.
Yeah, I was going to mention in that first 4, Wagner, one of the 16 seeds. They were a 6 or 7 seed and had to win they played on their opponent's home floor in the finals, and I think that's the first time they've gone. That's pretty cool. And another one that's pretty cool is Duquesne, where your son went to school, right?
Yep, graduated.
47 years since they've been to the big dance.
47 years. Wow, that was back in the 70s.
1977. They've never gone. They've
been irrelevant
as an A10 school.
Yeah, they've had nothing to bring to the A10 since they went to it.
I remember Scott Edgar was a coach at Murray, got that job, but he didn't last very long.
But you just look at, Monty, there's certain schools, there's certain that Murray, he was all over the Southeast. Coach Edgar was. That was his base. That was all his connection. Now you're going to go up to Pittsburgh. Well, kids aren't going to go past all those schools to go to Pittsburgh. And now I'll just say this: you've got to really go recruit Philadelphia, which you now have to break into. You've got to recruit New York. So you're recruiting in very different areas. So it's very tough to move sometimes to jobs. Even though they pay better, they're not always a better job.
What do you think about the Louisville job?
I don't understand. Again, money, I don't know if they got the likeness money. I don't know. Facilities are good. It's all about how you're going to pay these players to attract really good ones. It's a great job, right? Everybody knows. I mean, they've won Final Fours. So, history has it that way. But now, like you just said on the program, the changing of daily of college sports is upon us. So the change of guards, it's the race, the arms race now is not facilities. The arms race now is likeness money. And whether we like it or not, the pool is the pool for people to give money. So it's going to be interesting to see. Your thoughts on the jobs that are open. Is that the best one?
I would think so.
They named the interim at Ohio State, which I thought they should have.
Yeah, he took over as head coach. But yeah, that Louisville, I mean, that's too good of a job, too much history. St. John's, we were talking about the Big East. St. John's was a team a lot of people thought were in.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, both the NIT, because I think the NIT is loaded with talent, and the March Madness and the NCAA brackets. But
did you all talk about when the Lady Raiders play?
I think it's 1:30
Eastern, so 12:30. I haven't seen that anywhere, so, and I just pulled the bracket, so it'll be 12 o'clock here on the radio, 12:30 Central Time tip.
And that's Friday, right?
Friday the 22nd, yeah. So,
well, again, Brian, thank you as always for interjecting, because we did not mention that. So all Lady Raider fans, you can listen to it here on WGNS. Monty, thanks for coming in.
All right,
I'll
enjoyed it.
see you Wednesday.
You will.